Welcome to the Veterans Rally Point Podcast, the podcast created by veterans for veterans and their families. And now, from the Eastereals Veterans Rally Point Studios in Norwich, Connecticut, here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone. I am Brent Walker, veteran of the United States Army Infantry for just under 7 years after I was medically retired. And this is Veterans Rally Point Podcast, coming to you from the studios in Norwich, Connecticut.
Yes, and hello. I am Nubia Taylor, and I was in the Air Force, a ground rat, and I served during Desert Storm. And this is our very first podcast. We stole the show from our professor, Dave Stevens, because Veterans Rally Point Podcast is by veterans for veterans. I also want to say thank you to Morgan Freeman for that intro.
And sorry, Dave, we are taking over.
Take over.
We'll see more from Dave later in the show, but let's set the table for what we have tonight, Nubia.
We'll take a look at the Rally Point and all what it's all about with a behind-scenes look at the history of this amazing facility.
Plus, Eastereals Capital Region in Eastern Connecticut recently celebrated its 75th anniversary with a big celebration last month. We will hear from the president and CEO about what has kept this amazing organization going for 3/4 of a century.
And we'll check in with our own personal favorites, my most memorable moments with our friend Ray Shabbat. Wave to us, Ray. Well, he'll get back to us later on the show. But first,
There he is.
Brent, how was your summer?
Pretty good. We've got a lot of adventures we've been doing, fishing with the kids, but just got back from a 4,500-mile motorcycle trip with 3 other veterans. And we started here in Connecticut, wound up in Casper, Wyoming. We did a wedding while we were out there with one of the club members. It was really great. And on the motorcycle the whole time, on the road.
On the road again.
It was a long trip, but it was a lot of fun.
Ask me.
All right. Nubia, what'd you have going on this summer?
Well, I did a lot of things locally, and I learned how to play golf. I played golf with a couple of other female veterans, and I'll tell you what, make sure that you don't use your back, you use your shoulders and your hips, because I could not walk the next day. But I've been having a fun summer.
Stretch it out.
That
was with a specific organization too.
We had I guess I can say that was the PGA that sponsored us, and we had somebody come in and teach us like 8 lessons, and we were out there just golfing away.
That's pretty great.
It was fun.
That's pretty great. All right, our Veterans Rally Point podcast wants to help inform veterans, and we want to let everyone know about an upcoming event that we have statewide here in Connecticut coming up on September 22nd. We've got our beautiful graphic here. Here we are.
Oh, there it is.
The Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs will have the statewide stand down from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Norwich Veterans Rally Point. There will also be other locations out western Connecticut, where they usually have it in Rocky Hill. There we go, Rocky Hill. And then also at QVCC up in the Danielson area.
All right. And then if they want more information, they go to stand down at ct.gov. There'll be the National Guard there. There'll be legal services, medical screening, meals provided by the DVA. A lot of things going on that day. Yeah.
All the veteran services officers are going to be there to help you file out your compensation claims. If you got questions about prescriptions, you've got nurses there, mental health screenings. Did you already talk about shots and all
those
that
things
stuff
are going to
too?
be there. And you know what? Hopefully everybody got all their information in for that PACT Act. That just closed out last week also. That was a very, very important, momentous season for us veterans who had never filed before.
But
so hopefully got them in. But you can still do it. They can still do it. Get it in.
You can still file your compensation claims. It's just not going to be with the PACT Act.
And later we promised that the tour of this beautiful facility, all that and more on the Veterans Rally Podcast. Now to pay some bills.
Let's have a word from our sponsors.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Eastereals. Eastereals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Hello, everyone. Have you heard about the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show, an amazing podcast with sports stars, entertainment celebrities, and other great guests? Somebody, one host who has no legs, one host who lives in Duluth, Minnesota, and another host in Minnesota who can never be found. These guys get amazing guests and topics that no other show can provide, exclusively on your home TV and now the Roku app. That's the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show. Check us out, America.
All right. And so, as we said earlier, the Eastereals Capital Region and Eastern Connecticut recently celebrated its 75th anniversary with a huge celebration.
That is right, Nubia. 75 years of making a difference in the lives of children, veterans, and the disabled. Our boss for the class, Dave Stevens, even works the weekends occasionally. Here's a look at the fantastic day.
Well, despite the heat, the humidity, and the threat of rain, we had a great celebration, the 75th anniversary of Eastereals Capital Region in Eastern Connecticut. A great day of volunteers, families, and love. Let's show you some of the highlights. What an amazing day.
Dave, it's been an incredible day. To have so many people from our community here has been unbelievable. So many of our staff, our patients, participants, neighbors have come by, our elected officials, our donors. It's been great to see everyone.
It just showcases how important the community is to Eastereals. And so these are really important events because I can bring my family here so they can learn as well as experience people that they may not have everyday interactions with.
You're celebrating 75 years of an amazing organization.
We are. Eastereals has come a very long way in the last 75 years, and we still have a lot more work left to do in working with veterans and people with disabilities for 100% equity, access, and inclusion. We want our whole community to know about Eastereals. We want people to know about all the resources that we have and how we can actually connect them even to other resources outside of Eastereals. So we want people to know that whatever it is that they might need when it comes to work, when it comes to outpatient medical rehab, when it comes to neuropsychological diagnostic testing, if you think your child might have a learning disability, your parent might be struggling with memory concerns, or you're a veteran, we want people to know that whatever they need, they're one step away from getting it if they call us at Eastereals.
So a fantastic day for a great organization celebrating 75 years of existence. So happy anniversary, Eastereals. Here's to 75 more. And I'm Dave Stevens for Ability Media. I don't think I have a bubbly personality, but that's because my friend over here is handling the bubble machine off camera. We'll see you later.
Woohoo! That was super cool. I love those bubbles. I need some bubbles in my life. What about you?
I do love a good bubble bath.
And that was a great celebration. That
Thanks,
75
Dave,
years.
for that.
Yes, in 75 years, that's awesome. What dedication.
And I love a good story, especially. Next, we have a couple of good veteran stories. In fact, my co-host Nubia created our next segment.
I did. That's right. So you've heard of M&Ms. Well, this segment is called M&M's, Most Memorable Moments. And guess what? This segment is not going to melt in your hands. This is going to be some stories told from some veterans, and we can't wait to hear about it. Memorable stories.
And now joining us again is Ray Shabbat from the U.S. Air Force. Ray has been a part of the class from day one, and he has a hilarious story. That is true. It involves a president, and we know presidents never lie.
Ooh.
Ray, welcome to the show.
Welcome, Ray.
What is your MMM?
Well, just to give you a little background, I entered the Air Force in 1969, January. I discharged in 72, December. Basic training, Lackland. Everybody goes to Lackland in the Air Force. My technical school was Shepherd Air Force Base, and my first duty assignment after technical school was Clark Air Base in the Philippines. It was a 16 to 18 month tour. But before being shipped out overseas, I came home after tech school, got married to my high school suite, and we're still married after 53 years. And after I went overseas and I came back, I was stationed at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. That was up in the Panhandle. I put in a request for some leave to attend my older sister's wedding, and I was turned down because I didn't have enough leave saved up at the time. I accepted that, but I guess my wife didn't. She told me that she had wrote a letter to the president, and of course I did not believe her. I thought she was just pulling my leg. And needless to say, about 2.5, 3 weeks later, I get a phone call after working the midnight shift and going home on a sad day. And it's the first sergeant for the squadron. And I was ordered in to see the commander of the squadron on a sad day. Well, that's unusual because they're not usually in work in those days. I went in and they kind of read me the riot act up one side, down the other. Wanting to know why my wife wrote a letter. I says, well, I thought it was a joke at first. I says, I didn't believe her until I got really the phone calls this morning to come in and see you. And needless to say, I was told that even though she's a civilian, she is part of the Air Force family. Therefore, it's my responsibility, being in the Air Force, to kind of control and look over things and make sure that everything is going all right with her. Well, after that, about 6 to 8 weeks later, I got orders for Tan Son Nhut, Southeast Asia, Vietnam. And but I had come back from an isolated remote tour, which meant that they had to keep me in the States for at least 1 year. And this was only about 4 months after I had come back. So those orders got canceled, and I remained in the States. And doesn't take long though. Once my year was up, I got orders for Karat, Thailand. Well, I only had like about 6 months left in the service to go, and my wife was pregnant. And in the Air Force regulations, you learned very fast that my wife being pregnant and so many months along, and me having less than a year left in the service to go, I had to remain at Eglin, and that's where I was discharged in December of 72. And fortunately, I was granted a honorable discharge. That's about the end of my story.
Man, you had to keep pretty clean from that point forward after all of that.
Wow. So did President
keep a low profile?
Did President Nixon ever pardon your wife?
I don't know if he ever did. I know my squadron commander did not.
Whoa! I tell you what,
she did get a letter from a colonel on behalf of the president, President Nixon, and it was funny because I says, "Well, how did you mail it?" She says, "Well, I wrote down President Nixon, White House, Washington D.C."
Exactly.
Got the letter.
Exactly. Yeah, my husband had his mom wrote a letter to President Carter and asked him not to put him on the front line. So when Desert Storm hit, they sent me out front line, and my husband was back in Tampa just hanging out. True story.
See, your mom should have wrote the letter too.
Yes. Yeah. So stay with us. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thanks for the invite.
Yes. And so stay with us. You are watching and listening to the Veterans Rally Point podcast, made by veterans for veterans.
As a thicker guy can be difficult, but Fresh Clean Threads has you covered. They're designed with a little extra room in the stomach area, but still a nice clean fit on the arms and chest. They're also so comfortable that my girl loves to steal them to sleep in sometimes. They're easily the best fitting shirts I've ever worn. I get compliments every time I throw one on. People even ask if I've been hitting the gym more. Fresh Clean Threads fit like a designer shirt, but for a fraction of the cost. You've got to check them out.
Hi, everybody. Dave Stevens for the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show at the Miami Marlins Ballpark. And you know what? We get great stars on our show, but there's all kinds of great programming and content on your home TV. Your Home TV is a free on-demand streaming service reaching global audiences. They feature family-friendly programs with a vast selection of topics and interests. Their platform ideally matches content producers, leading viewers, smart device precision, and immersive HD experiences, plus ease of transaction solutions for everyone. Plus, they've got great shows and content like A Moment of Zen, Financial Freedom, The Retirement Halftime Show, and Make It Happen. And they have all kinds of travel shows, food shows, great programming, and great content. So, for more information, go to yourhometv.com. Check out the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show and all of the other great shows. yourhometv.com. Tell them Dave sent you.
You better get yourself some of those shirts.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back again, everybody. Since we hijacked Dave's show earlier, it's only fitting we thank him. Check out the Geary, Stein and Stevens podcast right on the Roku channel, like he was talking about in that last commercial there. In the Fresh Clean Threads, you can use his code.
Exactly.
GSS Show. You saw it in the commercial. Use that one.
Get the shirt. You look hot.
Yeah.
And thanks to Eastereals Crec for giving us this opportunity to learn about this class. So Brent, what'd you learn? What'd you get out of this class?
It was good for me to get back in the swing of things. I've got my own podcast, Proud to be an American Podcast. We bring veterans on, talk about their service and being entrepreneurs and stuff. So this got me back in the saddle, getting ready to record season 2, hopefully this year. What about you, Nubia?
Well, I love the camaraderie. I loved all the different little techie things that we learned from the back scenes and being live on his show. And yes, I do have my own podcast, Nubia of Nubian Queen Nation Podcast, on women running their own businesses and running your queendom.
That's great.
Yes. So these classes and many others are offered to the veterans and their families. And we actually had a father-daughter duo, a combo in the class. We had Faith and her dad. I love how when you have children, they take over. So it's Faith and her dad.
That's right. Scott Courtwright joins us now to talk about what makes this place so special. Scott, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks. I'll take Faith's dad any day. Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Courtwright. I served in the Army National Guard. I'm a Desert Storm vet. I signed up for this class to learn a little about television and media, and it gave me a great opportunity to bond with my daughter. We love the opportunities that Veterans Rally Point offers. And it gave my daughter the opportunity to see for herself the amazing things that this place has to offer. Faith?
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, I'm Faith Courtwright, and I'm here at Veterans Rally Point. And if you want to see some of the amazing things we're doing here, then come on in.
Hi, my name's Lori Marriott. I am the acting vice president of Eastereals Capital Region, Eastern Connecticut Veterans Rally Point. It was July 2018 that the state of Connecticut decided to give us a grant for $2.5 million to build this amazing one-stop shop center of excellence for veterans. On November 11th, 2021, we had our ribbon cutting ceremony here at Veterans Rally Point. It was an amazing day being able to cut that ribbon on a long overdue project.
At Eastereals Veterans Rally Point, there's no one is left behind. These services are free and local, serving our Connecticut warriors.
We have some amazing programs here at our one-stop shop for veterans, military, and their families, including our computer lab, employment centers. We have an amazing fitness center and maker space that includes a wood shop and a pottery studio. Many other programs are available.
A lot of our veterans have a challenging transition out of the military. Whether our veterans are recovering from injuries or trying to navigate the civilian world, Veterans Rally Point Eastereals Capital Region in Eastereals, Connecticut walks with the veterans and active duty throughout their transition out of the military.
We would love for you to take a look at our programs either on Facebook at Veterans Rally Point or on our website at veteransrallypoint.com. You can reach us also at 860-859-4148 extension 1.
Well, Veterans Rally Point certainly has some very challenging facilities here. Maybe I'm cheating. I'm Faith Courtwright at Veterans Rally Point, and back to you, Dad.
Thanks, Faith. So that's a quick look at what this place has to offer. We hope more veterans will stop by to see how life-changing this place can be. And back to you, Nubia and Brent.
Thanks, Scott and Faith. You guys did a great job. That was awesome. This show was shot and edited and produced by the students in this class. And if you hate it, blame our teacher, Dave.
That's right, Dave. We've got the finger pointed right at you. Or in the military, the knife hand.
Ooh.
That's right, Nubia. We will continue to grow this show and hope to have this be a new part of Veterans Rally Point going forward, something that we have to offer that's going to be a long coming thing.
Yes. For more information about this program or others that are offered here, please visit veteransrallypoint.org.
All right. That will do it for our first show. We will return you to your normal Geary, Stein and Stevens program next time.
I'm Nubia Taylor.
And I'm Brent Walker. For our entire Veterans Rally Point media class and our director, Kim Sullivan,
Woo!
shout out to the Coast Guard. Throw it up.
Woo, 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 woo.
Have a great day, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Veterans Rally Point podcast. For more information or to help us out, please visit veteransrallypoint.com and support these wonderful veterans. Thank you for watching, America.